Well, hello everybody. Hope you're all doing well. I would like to continue my videos. I already posted two. One was about the emotions, the chakra, the second chakra of emotions that opens us up to the second dimension of perception. And I talked about the third chakra that opens us up to the dimension of mind, thoughts, and will. I gave you some exercises that may help if in case you had problems getting rid of negative emotions connected with what's going on with, for sure, sense of fear and uncertainty and concerns connected with the pandemic. And the same with mind. I hope that it was helpful when I explained how the mind works and how limited it really is, and how it's all the first three dimensions, the dominance of those, the vibrations of the first three dimensions is closing us up in the structure of our ego. And the reality seems very solid, and we are completely buying into Maya, which is the illusion of this reality. Even though for each of us that reality is slightly different and we have different emotional approach to things that are going on, and we have different thoughts at this time, many of us have similar concerns and similar thoughts about what's happening. And the mind can be definitely an obstacle to reach the level of comfort and happiness in this time. Many of us may have problems keeping the business going, and even though some of us get relief from the government in the form of some money, this is all very little in comparison to the actual scope of the whole big problem, economy, and what's going to happen next. What are we going to do if our businesses collapse and we're not able to make money? So that whole process of thinking and process of arriving at the place logically where it seems that we're going to fail, the fear of it, all that can be very destructive. So, fortunately, these are only the first three dimensions, and we also have ways of dealing with the problems of the second and third chakra. I'm not talking much about the first one because that's the material world. That has to do with body and with healing the body, and I don't really talk about that much. I focus on working on all the dimensions starting from the second. So there are ways of controlling negative emotions, of stepping out of them. There are ways of dealing with the mind, of making the mind work for us instead of against us. But of course, having the problem that linear thinking, logical thinking is taking us towards the solution that seems not very good, that simply perpetuates the problem. And I mentioned that there is a state we can arrive at where the mind finally surrenders. And if mind is able to surrender, then that energy from the Kundalini energy, your individual unit of consciousness, your spirit, can raise up. And it's an extremely powerful, magical force that clears up the second and the third chakra on its way up. Emotions become neutral. We find a space of emptiness, and then the mind surrenders. Some of us have the fourth chakra already open, and some of us don't. Generally, the way we understand love is very conditional. We understand our relationships, personal relationships, as love relationships, and that's a very nice way of approaching relationships. But very often, these relationships are very conditional. They're based on what we're getting and what we're giving, and they're based on circumstances. So that kind of love is something that's that can unfortunately disappear together with the mind that thinks in a very pragmatic way, and that love is something that's just a notion of the real love that we all carry in our hearts. That real love is the fourth dimension, and that love is not conditional, and it's the same love that we feel for our close ones, for our family. It's the same love that we feel for our dear children and our parents and grandparents. It's the same love we feel for our siblings. It's that deep love. And what I wanted to bring to your attention is that that love is there all the time. And as you feel it for someone very close, as you feel it for your child, that love is there in the world all the time. It is in that dimension of sacred love. It's exactly the same love. And during my experience of spontaneous Kundalini rising, while my consciousness was able to break through these two dimensions, two chakras, and I entered the fourth dimension, I realized that each of us is loved all the time. Each of us is loved madly. Each of us is showered with love. And that's the state of life. These two dimensions, in our personal structure, the chakras of the physical, emotional, and mental, if they're not cleared, they're an obstacle to feel the love. But the love is there. So if you are already feeling that you have connection with that incredible feeling of love, that means that your fourth chakra is open. If you are, especially now, having any kind of problems with feeling the love because you're so overwhelmed by your situation, I would suggest that you do the exercises I was talking about in the second video about emotions, and also consider working on your mind. If since everyone is it has individual approach to it. We are all a little different, especially when it comes to working on the mind. Contact me and I can help with individual approach to this problem of mind being an obstacle on the way to happiness. Happiness that we get from love is unconditional, and the love is unconditional, and it's, as I said, it's eternal, it's always there. It doesn't operate on the same principles as the second or the third chakra or the first one. It doesn't belong to the cycle of life and death, to samsara, to that what is constantly changing in our lives. It is always there, it is eternal, and each of us is not only loved, not only everything about you that you think is the deepest secret that you have never told anyone, all that is known to that presence. You can call it God, and you can call it anything you want. You can call it a spirit. During my experience, I was able to feel the presence that fell in love with me, and I fell in love with it, with that. And I realized that it's not, of course, it's not just me. It's everyone that's loved. We are all loved, and everything is loved. So you may not feel it at the times, at the difficult times, but the magic is always there, and you can always tap into it. The way to come closer to the sense of being in love with everything there is to mindfully approach what you're dealing in life with love. There could be small things. It could be cleaning your place. It could be making a meal. It could be taking the trash out. It could be anything that you do. Just think about it as something that you can give love to, so you can feel it. It's because we are always thinking that love is out there. It's in that person. If that person loved me, then I would feel good. And if I had that, then I'd be happy. But in truth, it's just us being able to get that love out of ourselves, feel it ourselves, give it. Giving it is first. I know it's hard to give love if we don't feel it, if we feel that we don't have it. But hopefully the fact that I'm saying that it's there will help, and you'll find it in yourself, because I know you have it. I know we all have it. We all have in our hearts the greatest love. Many spiritual teachers were teaching that. Teaching about loving others, teaching about loving all there is. And that's the thing, that this unconditional love is not reserved for cute things, good things. It's not reserved for the special person. That love is for everything. That love is for all of life. And if we carry it in our hearts consciously, if we consciously behave with that love in our hearts, that love is not just the concept of love. It's also the concept of benevolence, help, support, tenderness, justice, truth. And there are many other words that fit into that dimension. This is all that each of us wants to experience in life, wants to feel. So in order to experience it and feel it, we don't have to look outside, because that's when this whole judgment starts. That's when the mind starts working. That's when the emotions go, I don't like it, I like it, I don't like it. That's where the mind says, not this. Love is unconditional, and we all have it in our hearts. And we can happily do things with love. And by doing it that way, we are helping our consciousness to fill up this heart. The heart is filled with love. I know that these are big obstacles, but they are obstacles that can be, it's not something that we can't overcome. And regardless to what's going on here, acting with love, I don't mean pretending it and saying I love you to everyone. You can do that if you really feel it, but if you don't really feel it, then it's just the mind cheating on you. Yes, I think this is all I wanted to say today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. My book, Transcendence Calling, I talk about the dimension of love, and maybe you'll find some more information in there about the whole way of reaching that state, dwelling in love. That's all we need. Thank you.